Beneath the absurdity of Rick and Morty lies a show obsessed with duality. Genius and despair, freedom and control, creation and destruction. From its origin as a parody of Back to the Future, Rick and Morty took the familiar mentor-sidekick formula and inverted it, exposing what happens when the mad scientist archetype stops being lovable and starts being self-aware. But for every Rick, there must be a Morty. And for every Morty, there's the potential to become something else entirely.
Raise your hand if he speaks for you.
Is that enough off the top?
I don't know. Is it?
Yes, goddamn, yes. Great.
Evil Morty is a counterpoint to Rick's narcissism, and the only character to ever outthink him. What began as a background twist evolved into one of the most profound arcs in modern animation. A story about power, control, and the price of freedom. We know for sure that Rick is the villain of this show, even if we don't want to admit it. So this video asks a question that turns the entire show inside out. Is Evil Morty the hero of Rick and Morty? By the end of this analysis, you might see Evil Morty not as a monster, but as the logical conclusion of everything Rick represents. Before we begin, please drop a like and subscribe. It's totally free, takes just a second, and helps the channel more than you know. Now let's get into the video. Our story begins in Season 1, Episode 10. Across the multiverse, Ricks are being hunted and killed, and their Mortys kidnapped. The Council of Ricks quickly blames our Rick for it, and the accusation fits perfectly. He's always defied authority and acted like he's above every version of himself. What they don't realize is that this event quietly exposes how fragile their system really is. A council built by infinite egos can only survive if those egos never question it. Rick escapes capture and begins his own investigation, and what he finds is disturbing.
Bunch of people strapped all over that building!
Not people, Morty. Mortys.
It's a warehouse filled with tortured Mortys hooked up to machines, with their pain used as camouflage. It's not science fiction for shock's sake, it's actually commentary. Even at this early point, Rick and Morty hints that the Citadel's order depends on Morty's suffering for Rick's safety. When the captive Mortys finally revolt, taking down the so-called evil Rick, we get one of the series' key lines.
A cocky Morty can lead to some big problems. Can be a real bad thing for everybody.
Oh yeah, how's that?
I'll explain when you're older.
The show is subtly warning us that a self-aware Morty is a threat to the hierarchy itself.
This Rick was being controlled remotely, puppeteered by somebody else. This is the receiver. Yeah, but where's the transmitter?
This single shot changed the tone of the series. Up until then, Morty had been helpless, constantly whining and overshadowed. But here was a Morty who had turned the system upside down, manipulating the ultimate manipulator. And with the haunting notes of For the Damaged Coda by Blonde Redhead, a new archetype was born, the Morty who fights back.
I think it's time to pull out of the race. I feel pretty confident about tonight's debate. You shouldn't, sir. You should be terrified. Maybe you should find a little faith, young man. You don't pay me to have faith. And we're the same age!
2 seasons later, the Ricklantis mix-up aired, but the title was a lie. Viewers expected another meaningless adventure. What they got instead was a political thriller set entirely inside the Citadel. After its collapse earlier in the season, the Citadel has rebuilt itself into a civilization where Ricks live above and Mortys live below. The show becomes a metaphor of how the real world operates. For the first time, we see what life is actually like under Rick's rule. Mortys are factory workers, janitors, cops, and campaign assistants. They're background noise, disposable by design. So when a single Morty runs for president, it's treated as a joke.
Here you see him in his little Morty suit waving. Isn't that adorable? Little jackass. Yeah, I think we actually have the audio for his speech here. Oh, geez. Oh, man, I'm gonna lose the election and stuff.
The Ricks mock him. Even his own campaign manager tells him to quit. But this Morty doesn't play along. Through quiet confidence and an appeal to disillusioned Mortys, he turns the election around with this speech that gave me goosebumps the first time I watched it.
From the Ricks and Mortys that believe in this Citadel, to the Ricks and Mortys that don't. You're outnumbered.
Immediately after, he fires his campaign manager, and soon after, a detective Rick hands the fired campaign manager a classified file, and within minutes, there's an assassination attempt.
You should have worked on your aim, bro.
He's alive? No, you gotta listen to me. I worked for him. I was his campaign manager. That Morty is not what he seems.
He's right. The eye patch is gone, but the intent is unmistakable. Evil Morty has returned, not as a hidden manipulator, but as a leader. His first act as president is to consolidate power by eliminating the Ricks that don't rate him at all.
Is that enough off the top?
Don't know. Is it?
Yes, goddamn, yes. It's great.
It's easy to call this evil, but in context, it's rebellion. And in Season 5, we understand why.
Rick C-137, President Morty requests you join him for dinner.
Whoa, seriously?
You know I destroyed this place. You've been pardoned for that, sir.
Rick, let's have dinner with the Morty president.
Morty, the idea was to get back to simple adventures. The Citadel runs on canon.
In the Season 5 finale, our Rick and Morty come face to face with evil Morty once again. The journey starts innocently enough. Morty has turned himself into a 40-year-old man, and after Rick reluctantly reverses it, the president of the Citadel invites them to dinner. Rick agrees, but with one warning.
The second he reveals he's evil, we're gone.
That line is the setup for everything that follows. At the Citadel, several long-hidden truths finally surface. First, Rick built the Citadel himself. And second, and far darker, all the Ricks who joined him began to breed Mortys throughout the multiverse, either through cloning or by forcing Beth and Jerry together. It reframes everything we know about the show. It even raises the question, did our Jerry ever actually get Beth pregnant? Or was Morty engineered as a product of Rick's system from the start? This revelation connects back to the very first season. Ricks need Mortys. They use them as human shields that hide their brainwaves from the forces that hunt them. Mortys exist as buffers for Rick's weakness, guilt, and fear of being alone. Evil Morty said it perfectly.
There aren't infinite versions of our grandfather Morty. He's an infinite smear of one shitty old man. And he's attached to us infinitely through his weakness and our forgiveness.
And then, Evil Morty makes his move.
Uh-oh. It's okay, he's free to go. He's the Rickest Rick. We'll never see him again.
That smug, deliberate statement catches Rick off guard. Then realization hits him.
I only know one man that ever hacked my portal gun, and it turned out it was evil you.
Yay, he's all caught up.
The multiverse's smartest man is finally confronted by someone who understands it and rejects it. The Citadel begins to fall apart. Evil Morty has tampered with the portal fluid. He also disables Operation Phoenix, the backup system that transfers Rick's and Morty's consciousness into clone bodies after death. He's planned for every contingency, stripping the Citadel of its safety nets one by one. And then, the final revelation shows us that his plan was never about power, it was about escape. Evil Morty's true objective is to destroy the central finite curve, this invisible wall that defines the multiverse, a filter Rick himself created. On one side are all the universes where Rick is the smartest man alive, and the worlds where someone might surpass him have been sealed away. That's why, in every episode, no matter the universe, Rick is always the smartest being in existence. He built reality to ensure it. Evil Morty wants to tear it down. He's done playing by the rules of a man who believes the universe should orbit his ego. He's sick of Ricks, their arrogance, their endless cycles of pain and detachment. As he puts it,
That's what makes me evil, being sick of him. If you've ever been sick of him, you've been evil too.
with that, he executes his plan, tearing open the fabric of the universe itself. It's one of the most powerful sequences in the series. The animation, the score, the symbolism. Everything points to one idea: change. Evil Morty opens a yellow portal, stepping into the unknown. The color shift is deliberate, not the green of Rick's control, but yellow. Freedom, independence, something new. And beyond the spectacle is why Evil Morty might actually be the hero. He's the perfect foil to Rick C-137. Both have killed millions, but their motives couldn't be more different. Rick's violence comes from grief, the trauma of losing his wife, the hole he fills with ego and science. Evil Morty's violence comes from fatigue. He's done pretending this cycle can be fixed. So the question becomes, who's worse? Who's more justified? Rick builds walls to contain the universe. Evil Morty breaks them to escape it. One kills to preserve control, the other kills to be free. Morally, it's impossible to call one righteous. But thematically, Evil Morty represents something Rick never could, the will to stop playing God.
And how were the horrors of the infinite today, sir?
Just another day in paradise.
Evil Morty's story doesn't end in Rick Mirai Jack. 2 seasons later, he returns in Unmortricken, his most ruthless and revealing appearance yet. The episode begins with Rick and Morty bickering after another chaotic adventure, but this time, the tension breaks. Rick, drunk and irritated, lashes out.
You want out, then fucking quit!
Instead of arguing, Morty stops, apologizes, hands Rick a beer, and walks away. In his room, he begins building a device we don't fully understand. When he returns to the garage, Rick is passed out drunk.
It's you and me, Morty. Rick and Morty, 100 years, forever.
Yeah, pal. Rick and Morty. 100 years.
That's when we realize that this is Evil Morty's origin story. We never see exactly what he does to his Rick, but the aftermath says enough. He turns him into a puppet made of implants and circuitry. We flash back to his first appearance in Season 1, hunting down Ricks to find C-137. And in those flashbacks, the tragedy becomes clear.
Do your worst, you little bastards! Kill me! Do it! Do it!
Cut to the present, where we see what the outside of the central finite curve looks like. Life exists here, and for a brief moment, Evil Morty is free. He's built a pocket reality where he can finally rest. But even paradise can't last. Rick C-137's obsession with finding Rick Prime disrupts that peace. Evil Morty shows up uninvited, mocking Rick's process and showing him the right way to flush Prime out. Together, they locate a lead and end up trapped in something that feels like a saw device. It's here that we learn about the Omega device, a weapon capable of killing a person in every conceivable reality. And from that point on, the episode becomes what every fan once dreamed of. Rick C-137 and Evil Morty, side by side, facing the worst Rick of them all. Their teamwork is as sharp as it is violent. Physically and intellectually, they're unstoppable. To escape the trap, they literally fuse their portal guns, creating a hybrid that only they could conceive. Once free, they track Prime down, and the confrontation that ensues is brutal, long, chaotic, and personal. But in the end, Evil Morty is the one who actually outplays Prime, switching places with our Morty to bait him and incapacitate him. Evil Morty then steals the Omega device schematics, revives Rick, and lets him deliver the final blow.
Knock yourself out.
At first, I thought Evil Morty was being merciful. Then it became clear that it was a calculated move. After Prime's death, Evil Morty looks at Rick and asks,
How's it feel? Better? No? Exactly the same? Yeah, it always does. Hope you're happy with your choice.
Evil Morty knew that taking away Rick's purpose would hurt him more than death ever could. He destroys the Omega device and threatens Rick directly.
Seriously though? Fuck you. Don't come after me. It won't go well.
As of the making of this video, that's the last we've seen of him. Evil Morty's intellect at this point is undeniable. I made a video where I gave reasons and analyzed why he's smarter than our Rick. You should check that out if you haven't seen it. Evil Morty is beyond clever. Yes, his methods are brutal, but his motivation remains consistent, and, in a way, understandable. And when you look closely, it's clear who the real villain has always been. Rick C-137 built the central finite curve. Evil Morty just wanted to escape it. It's almost poetic. The man who engineered a reality where he's the smartest being alive is eventually challenged by a Morty, the very product of his design, who rivals his intellect and surpasses his limits. Evil Morty lives entirely for himself, and that, ironically, is what gives him clarity. In the end, Evil Morty isn't searching for control, revenge, or even justice. He's searching for escape from the system, from Rick, from the destiny written for him the moment he was born a Morty. That's what makes him the hero. If you're new here, subscribe for more Rick and Morty videos like this. Thanks for watching.